What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back, y'all, to the Tuffy Talk live show. We are back here, y'all. It is Red and White week. It is homecoming week, and we got Clemson coming to town, baby. 2 p.m. And after a successful bye week, to say least, which we'll definitely be talking about here today, we are back to playing football here, folks. 5 guaranteed games here left in the season. Again, all starts here this Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. in Carter Finley Stadium versus the Clemson Tigers, y'all. But as always, you got myself, Lane Smith, with Greg the Leg, and then our newest member of the team, Lindsay Ware, as well, joining us. And we should have Macon joining us here late today, but no matter what, you're still in great hands here between Greg, Lindsay, and myself. So as we said here in the chat, if you've been with us before, you know the deal. You know the deal, Pickle. But if you haven't, it's very simple. Is again, put any questions, thoughts, questions that you have in the chat, and we will get to as many of them as we can here today. But with that being said, I wanted to kind of jump right to it here, as I have this particular video, which we'd actually tweeted out about 30 minutes ago, because Greg actually brought it to our attention, talking about the NC State versus, the UNC versus
UVA
Virginia game. Yep. Back on last Saturday. And I'll be honest, like, it really stood out to me a lot. I mean, and I think we'll kind of let the video kind of speak for itself, and then we'll talk a little bit about it here right after that, and then we'll jump into some Tuffy's mailbag questions as well. So let's hear it straight from it.
Hit any traffic coming in?
Me either.
In fact, other than the cones and the road and some of the parking people, you never would have known that there was a game today. The fans stunk. The crowd was terrible. It wasn't full. You have a number 10 team in the country at this school. Hadn't been here in the middle of the season since 2015, and only once since 97. The people didn't show up.
I agree.
They didn't make a lot of noise. I think the fans, everything about the team, you could point fingers everywhere tonight. This was a terrible look for North Carolina football. If you go back to Twitter, I'm putting little videos and photos out. There ain't nobody here, guys.
It was weird.
This is a late arriving crowd. I don't know how North Carolina football fans could ever take something for granted, but they did. And I think maybe the team did. Mac said they didn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, could you imagine like somebody from Pack, like, Corey Smith from Pack Pride, or James Henderson from Inside Pack Sports coming out and on a public, YouTube channel, which, I mean, those videos get, usually anywhere between, 1,500 to 3,000 views, give or take. I mean, it's usually a very, very watched, kind of post game, conversation. And for him to, I mean, just leave nothing back and just say, like, it was a bad look for NC State football and for UNC football and UNC, fans. Like, that's like, it's not like it's a State fan that said it. It's one of their very own, that they do it for a living. Like, they support UNC for a living, and they said that. Like, it's just, and again, I'm actually very curious, Lindsay. I know you're, UNC. Recent UNC grads. I mean, like,
Carolina sucks. Lindsay, Lum, what do you think about it?
Well, no. Well, because obviously one of the biggest things that comes back is, well, it was their fall break. And I mean, I've been to plenty of NC State games during fall break where, where that has not been an issue. So, I mean, is it really that clear that, I mean, just the support between between basketball, even from a student's perspective, is really that different?
I will say fall break is a bigger thing here. I experienced in undergrad. I think nobody at State really goes out of town or anything for fall break. It's more just kind of like you relax and then you go to football. Almost everyone I knew in undergrad and still know leaves town for fall break. I mean, football has never been as big as basketball. You'll see the tailgates are popping. Everybody's at the bars, at the frats. But not everybody goes to the game. A lot of times you tailgate and then you go home, because you don't tailgate and tailgate lots like at State. So a lot of people will go tailgate and then they just go home or watch the game at a bar or something. But I will say this was particularly low attendance. I saw the pictures and thought that was crazy. I know it was super packed for the Miami game 2 weeks ago. So I was surprised to see the lack of people there. I wouldn't say this is normal, but I wouldn't say it's unusually abnormal either. When we play people, UNC is playing people that they think they're going to beat by a lot, nobody shows up. Whereas at State, I feel like that's the time to really root for it, watch your team shine. There's a ton of people there for VMI, even though that was a blowout. But yeah, a lot of times at UNC, it's like, oh, we're probably going to win. Let's go have beer at the tailgate and then go home.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I mean, again, it's just like, I kind of tweeted out saying, I mean, if any State fan ever wants the ultimate trump card over UNC fans, I mean, this is pretty hardcore up there for sure. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely stood out a lot here. But making Greg, any final thoughts on this before we jump on over some Tuffy mailbag questions?
Oh, I want to go last.
Okay,
So,
Making anything?
I'll just let you go first, man. I mean, I think it's just what you guys all said. Well, I think your insight there, Lindsay, was interesting coming from being a student there.
Yeah.
Even though I still can't get over you're a State fan, you went to school there, I just can't get over it. But I'm joking. I mean, I say granted, I get the fall break thing. Just to be fair, I'm gonna say that, like you said, get out of the way. Now I'm gonna go for it. You have a top 10 team. You have a chance to go CFP. You guys recruit so much easier talent for football than State has to. Okay, like you're UNC, you can just roll out. You've got a basketball jersey on your football uniforms, and nobody cares. And you got a basketball player on your jersey, nobody cares. You just say Michael Jordan, and you're fine because you're Carolina, and you have a chance to play in a college football playoff. And it's not like you just went up against I don't even know how to compare it. Let's not say you went up against Virginia Tech, or even maybe a better team would be I don't even know who it'd be. Like you went up against an Illinois or whoever. Like you went up against a 1-5 team and lost.
But by the way, this is the South's oldest rivalry.
True. Right.
Well, I mean, does that matter to people anymore? I mean,
it should.
To me, I don't really. I will say this. This is my personal thing. Maybe this is an interesting take. The idea that State and Wake Forest have played each other for over 100 years doesn't add flavor to me for the rivalry. It's just I can't stand. I don't like losing them. They've gotten annoying to me, and I want to beat them to a pulp because they've beaten us in times where we're critical games. But it doesn't go. I think it's cool. It's oh, that's a cool narrative to the game, but for me personally, it doesn't. So that's just me. But I get it. But you have a chance to do something great. You have arguably your greatest quarterback ever, if we hear Sam Howell, right? So, and yeah. I think some people would debate it, but I think it's the guy there right now. I think it's Drake May. So
agreed.
Or is it Mitch Trubisky? Sorry. So I don't know how you do that. I mean, I would love to know the numbers. I know they intentionally, There's to me, they intentionally changed bleachers out. One, I think, to make it nicer, but they changed them blue because they got railed on so much of having aluminum seats and all that. And I don't care if it is maybe they just thought they were going to walk in, but that's a bad thing. I mean, State did it to Boston College last year, right, on homecoming or senior night, and it was a bad look. But at least the fans showed up, and I don't know. It is. I will say this: it's nothing that I'm surprised about, right? Only thing I am surprised about is that a media member said it, and I appreciate the honesty, right? He's being honest. A lot of media members, folks, are kind of I'm going to just, continue to kind of pander to them. Because they're letting you have the media pass and all that. But to me, he was calling a spade. And what do you want? It's bad. I mean, I don't know. I can't stand Carolina. Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't insanely shocked either. Like I said, I had seen games and been there for games where it was packed and everybody was all about it. And I've been there for games where you could walk around the entire student section because nobody was there. You would sit the whole game and then you would get bored because nobody was there. So yeah, I wasn't shocked. I think this was a mentality of we're going to walk all over Virginia. Why show up? It's our fall break. Let's find something better to do. But yeah, not a good look when you're a top 10 team. And not a good look if you think for some reason you want to keep Drake May instead of, him getting drafted. If you want to give him a reason to stay, he thinks he's going to have a, playoff team. It's not a good look to just not show up.
That's a great point.
But I mean, if they can't get excited about this, they're never going to get excited, right? I mean,
no, they never really do.
Never will. They never will in that regard. So it's like, I'm looking at the schedule too. Like, it's relatively easy schedule. I mean, the latter portion of their schedule is the tougher part of their schedule, where they've got Duke, Clemson, and State. But I mean, Georgia Tech, and I mean, they could. Georgia Tech has beat. Who did Georgia Tech beat early in the season? Was it Miami?
I'll tell you who Georgia Tech beat last year.
Yeah, and Georgia Tech this year so far has the 9th worst defense in points per game. So,
well, I mean,
UNC should.
I'll tell you who Georgia Tech beat last year.
But UNC should put 60.
But here's my thing: like, also too, like offense scored how many points?
30 something.
Okay,
or 27.
To me, the problem for Carolina, I don't make the show about Carolina, but the problem was defense for them, right? It kind of comes back to haunt them again. Like, I just think the fans are kind of. I think the fans should kind of be embarrassed by it.
Well,
real quick,
but they probably won't because they don't care. So,
yeah,
just real quick, UNC football is straight up snake oil. I mean, there's no other way to slice it. You're a top 10 team. I don't care if you're bringing in like Northwest, Southwest, blind for the living. Like, you go and you get 7 home games a year, 7 times to go out and root for your team. You even took away 12,000 seats for that. That's not all on the students. There was plenty of other spaces.
People who paid, right?
Yeah, there was plenty of other seats that were
who
not
live nearby.
filled. Yeah, it's garbage. It's garbage.
And I'm just going to leave this comment up there while we wrap up this topic, Greg. Sorry.
No, I'm good. It's garbage. You're a top 10 team. Show up like you act like you've been there before.
And again, like it's a matter of that. Like, just like you said, like you have 7 opportunities, which are, theoretically, if you're a UNC fan, and you live around the Chapel Hill area, you have 7 opportunities where you can drive 15.
I think they had a neutral site, but still.
No. UNC State. I'm sorry, UNC versus Virginia. But sorry. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But
yeah.
Okay, 6 home games guaranteed. Whatever. You have 6 guaranteed games where you can come and see, in my opinion, without a doubt, the greatest quarterback to ever play UNC. Like, it's like for us with Phillip Rivers, it's like you're not going to miss an opportunity to go see the greatest quarterback to ever play in NC State history. Like, you're not going to miss that opportunity. And then I would also say as well, I mean, to kind of call a spade a spade, the only thing that comes to my mind in terms of where NC State media kind of called out the fans a little bit was last year during the beginning of the season, where PNC home games weren't getting a lot of fans being there. But now they also immediately said, and even Keats even said, hey, listen, I get it, because then us as the team, we need to give the fans, a reason to. Now, again, am I justifying that?
That's
No.
apples and oranges, though, Leighton. This is a basketball team that was not good. This is a top 10 football team in the country. And I appreciate
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, again, I'm saying, yeah, no, like it's a team that hasn't proven to get that they can't at that point that they can't put a product on the field that fans are really excited and to pay money and take time out of the day to come see. But with UNC, I mean, they just squashed Miami, who just beat Clemson by 20, and you go to play UVA and you can't even sell it out. Like, it's a bad look. I completely agree. So yeah, no, we're 100% on the same page. So,
no worries.
All righty, y'all. So let's jump on over here to some Tuffy's mailbag, y'all, and answer some questions submitted by Wolfpack Nation, y'all. All righty. So first question here: do we still think MJ is the future at quarterback for NC State?
The next 4 games.
For the next 4 games. I mean, and that's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind, unfortunately, is, again, it's like, do I still feel really, really good that, I mean, that he will come back next year? Sure. But there's so much that's going to happen behind the scenes that, unfortunately, State fans will never be able to see.
Well, I'm just going to add to that. I mean, like, it's NIL world now, right? So you can pay players every year. Your team is going to have turnover every year now. You never know what you're going to get going into the next season. And so, I mean, I know he got paid, stay, and we needed to have backup quarterback. I mean, imagine if we didn't have him right now, it'd be just Brennan, and we'd have nowhere to go right now. I don't think so, or we'd have probably gotten somebody else. But I think the answer for me, like just kind of what Greg said, I think we asked this question on the show last time. Do you stick with MJ? Do you go back to Brennan? I think at this point you stay with MJ. You play out the young guy to see if he can grow. And then you do that also so when you go in the offseason, at least you can evaluate what you have. You have a larger sample size. I mean, Brennan's done after this year. I think you still play Brennan in some package. I really do. I think there's some red zone, goal line, short yardage situations you do with Brennan. But I think for MJ, you play him out, let him get, what is that, 8 games or so under his belt, 7 games under his belt. And that way you got a larger sample size. And then you can know with more confidence what you have going in the offseason. So if you want to keep MJ, do you want to go find somebody else, bring in another guy who's proven it better? I don't think that's a bad decision. I think that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, we touched on this some in our midseason offensive review, talking about the MJ versus Brennan debate. Obviously, fans became accustomed to like booing Brennan and cheering MJ Morris. But now you kind of question if MJ was really the answer. But I think, you got to stick it out for the rest of the season. If the goal was to redshirt MJ, then you should have just gone with Brennan. And if he sucked, he sucked. But now that MJ has started playing, I say you just let him ride it out the rest of the season and see if there is room for development, if there's room for really a star quarterback there. But also the offensive issues go so far beyond the starting quarterback that I think we need to give MJ, a little more time, a little more room to breathe to see if these offensive issues are quarterback issues versus how much of it are other offensive issues.
Yep. And I mean, Southern MC, in here talking about, Armstrong sucks. At least MJ's trying like again, man. Like,
can I back up? Can I put the brakes there with you, Leighton?
Okay, go ahead.
You finish your thought. Actually, I'm sorry. You didn't finish your thought.
Well, no. Only thing that y'all want, I want to emphasize once again, y'all, is that it should be glaringly obvious after the Duke game that once again, just like we said in the offensive midseason reviews, that the quarterback issues have basically gone towards about 20 to 25% of the overall offensive issues so far this season, in my opinion. Like the fact that even with the MJ Morris led offense, we only scored 3 points against Duke. Just stares that it's not that MJ is the problem. It's not, even that Brennan is the problem. Now, Brennan was a part of the problem for sure. Again, definitely was missing easy throws, was, not helping our team, as much as MJ has. But again, the offensive line's been a huge struggle. Wide receivers, can't, have had issues. So, and again, it's, and a lot of things right now that, at least in my head, thinking about UNC also too. Another thing which I want to add is everybody's saying, well, UNC has great recruiting. UNC, develops guys. They're a top 10 team in the country.
Who says that?
Oh, plenty. Yeah, no, about how UNC recruits really well, but
the recruit part I get with you. That the development part I'm not so sure about, but
yeah. Well, I mean, again, the fact they're able to develop and be able to be a top 10 team in the country, I guess, but
yeah, sure.
But I mean, it's just like, listen, it's a weird time right now. But yeah, Macon, go ahead, man. Please give me your thoughts.
Dude, like Brennan is still the leading rusher on the team after not playing 2 games. Like he doesn't suck rushing the ball. He's literally your best running back essentially. And he hasn't played a couple games. And then if you want to talk about completion percentage, so Brennan has a 58.8% completion percentage, right? We had this conversation a few weeks ago. We compared what he did with what MJ did last year, because all we had seen at that point, and it was like 58.8% completion percentage for Brennan, and then like 60%, I think, for MJ. I'm not mistaken. I'm kind of looking at it right now. 60.5 this year, and I get it's only 2 games, but Brennan's got a better completion percentage than MJ right now. Brennan's at 58.8 and MJ's at 56.9. Granted, he has more touchdowns in less games, but I think some of those passes were like the little shuffle passes, right? Mm-hmm. So that's technically a pass, and that factors into the completion percentage. I don't know if MJ's better, guys. I mean, he's just getting some rust off the wheels, so to speak. But I can't say. Maybe I think the last part of that comment, Leighton, was what he said. Brennan sucks, and then what is MJ?
Well, just the rest that everything else around MJ isn't really projecting out that well.
Maybe so. I just I don't know, man. I wouldn't say Brennan sucks just yet. I think
No.
he's not playing great, but he's. I mean, like there's an aspect to his game that is really good, and if you're staying on offense struggling, I think you need to find a way to use that.
Agree.
But by my point, I still think you play MJ, you let him grow and all that. So,
Greg?
Yeah, so for me, MJ is the future, and the future would be at least one more year. I think you have to, kind of like Lindsay was saying, just kind of look at this season as a whole. There's a reason why we're probably on our 15th iteration of an offensive line. There was more shuffles done today with the release of the depth chart. We may be talking about earlier in the show. You still have wide receivers that couldn't catch a cold, and by the way, if they need one, I got one right now for them. So I just think that with all of that being said, you're gonna probably go out. You've got an incoming freshman coming in next year. You have Lex on the squad. You're probably going to go out and look in the portal to try to see if you can create some competition there, and then you let the best person win the job next year. Again, assuming that MJ wants to stay here.
Yeah, no, I fully foresee that. There's no doubt there's going to be a little bit of a roster overhaul, a little bit this offseason. Just at least I unless things turn around, I kind of hope so.
it'll
Like
happen.
again,
I think it'll happen.
yeah, again, and this is nothing personal at all towards the people that like all these players are great guys. Not a single bad thing I can say about any one of them as a person,
Yeah,
but
just a bad situation.
at the end of the day, I mean, they're just not getting it done. Like, right now it's unfortunately now with NIL, it's more of a business than it ever has been. So, again, I've always said it's kind of find that in between Dabo Swinney and Clemson, aka I'm not taking any transfers no matter what, and then Deion Sanders, which is like I'm willing to wipe the entire team if I needed to.
Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville as well. So anyway, though. All righty, let's move on over to our next question here. What is the ceiling for the rest of this season? Lindsay, I know we haven't heard from you in a little bit. Give it to me. What's your thoughts in terms of what is the ceiling for the rest of the season?
I mean, ceiling is that you win the rest of them. Realistically, I think the goal should be to make a bowl game. There are 5 games left, 3 at home and 2 away. But so far this season, we're 2-2 at home and 2-1 on the road. So home versus away doesn't seem to have that much of an impact. And our only ranked opponent left is UNC, who, like we just talked about, lost to Virginia at home. State hasn't beat a ranked opponent all season, but if things keep going this way for UNC, who knows if they'll be a ranked opponent when we see them next month. I think NC State at their best could beat Clemson, especially State's coming off of this bye week. Clemson's coming off of a double OT loss to Miami. Should beat Wake and Virginia Tech. But beyond that, I think it's all kind. What'd you say?
Should.
On the road, though.
Yeah, I still think should, again, at their best, should. I'm not confident enough to say they will, but hopefully they should. So I think the goal should be to go 6-6 at least, make a bowl game. The ceiling, geez, I don't know. You win 8, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that. Yeah, so winning 4, going 4-1 over the next 5.
Yeah,
I see that as a ceiling. Because again, I mean, every single team on this that's left for the rest of this season, like there's not one of them that I'm sitting here saying, man, like, that team just doesn't have, and like there's no vulnerability whatsoever. Like, no, we've seen every single one of these teams we're going to play for that season fumble and during the season one way or another. So there is opportunity for sure. Now, I mean, again, I think right now you got to take it one game at a time. Focus on Clemson, and then depending on what we see about Clemson, then we'll know a little bit more from there. Because definitely, hopefully, this bye week is going to be a step in the right direction for the rest of the season. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Yeah, we're technically a little more than halfway through the season, but I would consider this bye week kind of our halfway point, our resetting point. So I think seeing how we come out against Clemson, how those changes in the depth chart kind of affect the game, I think going from there, we can have a more realistic talk about what the ceiling is moving forward. But I think this bye week is really splitting the season in half for us. Hopefully, we're going on to a better second half.
I'm going to take this a little bit differently. Our ceiling, 24 points a game.
Ceiling?
Wow. That's bad.
Ceiling?
Man.
Tell me where you're saying we're scoring more than 24.
Well, I don't necessarily think.
And so here's where I'm going with this. If you score, if you give me 24, if you give me 24 points, I think we can win 4 out of the 5. If we don't get to 24, we're going to have a hard time getting to a bowl game.
Well, I would look at it more like a. Okay, here's where I think I'm viewing it. So you're saying ceiling is like I don't know if I fully grasp it all the way, but I can see like if we score more, we have a good chance to win. If we don't, we're losing. I can get where you're going at with that, but like
we're not going to win a shootout.
We've scored over 24 twice now. One of them was against a pretty decent defense. That's where I'm kind of like. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of saying that, Greg.
So we've scored 24 in 2 games and 48 in 1 game. So. And the 24 was against UConn and UVA, respectively.
What did we score against? What did we score against Marshall?
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. We scored 24 against Notre Dame too. My apologies.
Yeah,
we scored 48 against Marshall.
And then BMI was, a high-scoring game.
51, yeah.
Yeah, but 48 against Marshall, I feel like is pretty good. That's why I don't know. I feel like, to your point, to me, my gauge is how are we doing offensively today? If we scored more than 24 or not, I think that's the number for me this season so far. Is we have a better chance to win because the defense I think can show up. Although I think there's some things in the defense that need to get tightened up too, right? So
for sure,
not perfect,
totally.
But like,
absolutely.
I mean, defense can play good enough at times to let your offense win. Although they have let some people score on them. So I'll let that.
I think if we get to 24 against Clemson, we win. We get to 24 against Wake and Tech, I think we win. 24 against Carolina, you have a shot.
What is I'd be curious, Greg, to that point, what the other teams are averaging points per game right now. Like what's Clemson, what's Virginia Tech, what's UNC?
Let me just look. Go ahead and you guys talk amongst yourselves, and I'll just do some quick.
well, just kind of go ahead.
No. I just feel like that to me, I didn't get to answer this question yet. I think the ceiling is
Clemson's have a hard time getting 24. I mean, they got a couple of blowouts against lower tier teams, but
for me, it's I think that the ceiling to what Lindsay said earlier is win out every game. I think it is still doable. I just don't know how we do that. To be honest with you, I don't see us doing that. Now, what I think is going to happen, I think I mentioned earlier in the Discord for those who aren't on that, please join. That was a good discussion there a little bit. But I think we find 2 wins in there somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we beat nobody thought we were going to beat Carolina last year, and we did. Heck, nobody thought Carolina was going to lose to State and Georgia Tech last year, and they did. So, but for State, like they can find ways to win games. They've tended to do that, right? And I just don't know what it's going to look like. I think Wake is beatable. I think Virginia Tech looks a little tougher than we thought they might be. And to their credit, their quarterback has played. A young guy, new guy, and he's playing, and they're kind of letting him play it out, and it's paying off for them a little bit here and there because they look good against Pitt the other day.
Yeah.
So I think there's some wins in there. Miami looks to me. Miami and Carolina are the ones that kind of intimidate me the most. Going up to Blacksburg is becoming more intimidating. But I think State can find 2 wins in there somehow and get to bowl eligibility. I think they'll need that more practices, more time for the coaches to evaluate what you said, Layton, where they want to have turnover in the offseason. They're not going to let this happen again. They can't go into the offseason and be like, yeah, we're good with what we got. They're not going to do that. So
heck no. Heck no. Yeah.
So real quick, Clemson is averaging 32 a game, but don't let that fool you. Like they hung 66 on a Division 1A team, which is boosting that number. Mm-hmm. Miami has been pretty solid at 37, and then Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. Tech is right at 24, and Wake Forest is at 23.
Yeah.
Okay.
Layton, do you have the tweet up later where Michael was talking about State's record coming out of
Yes.
bye week? Okay, we'll
Yep.
do that later. But I think that's an
Yeah.
interesting point against this Clemson game.
Yeah. Agreed. All righty, move on to our next question here. Should State really be a 10-point underdog after a bye week and a Clemson coming off of a tough double overtime loss to Miami? Lindsay, what's your thoughts here?
This is where I think we need to pull up that tweet. We got a tweet that we were looking at about State's record coming off of a bye week, and it was kind of a crazy stat. Yeah, hold on. If we can pull it up.
I got it. Yeah.
While you're
Awesome.
doing that, I think this is more indicative of State's offense versus Clemson's defense,
Yeah.
not the other way
Dave Dorn
around.
with the rest advantage is 23-8. State coming off of a bye and Clemson coming off an emotional late night 2 overtime loss sets up well for the Pack. So yeah, if you didn't watch the game, I don't know where you were, but Clemson lost to Miami in double overtime this past weekend, while State obviously got the bye week. And like I said a little bit earlier, I'm hoping this is State's kind of reset for the second half of the season. Coming off that loss to Duke, able to kind of reflect and move forward. Clemson is still Clemson, but they're not the Clemson we knew a few years ago. Clemson's 4-3, just like State. They are performing better in conference than State is, but State at their best, really locked in after the bye week, I think could even beat Clemson. So I think 10 points is a little bit crazy. I'm not a bettor, but if I was, I would bet for State to cover.
Yeah, I'm not. To me, Tim's like, I actually thought 10 seems a little high.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of thought 6 or 7 is what I kind of thought, maybe even 8. But like Tim's 2 scores. Like that's pretty notable. I mean, State's going to score. I would say, wow, I say that, and they didn't score anything hardly against Duke. So I just don't know. I think to your great point, it's more indicative of State's offense being able to score than I think their defense and or Clemson's defense or whatever we were saying there, Greg. I just think in the past, though, in the bye week, State's offense nor defense, I think, has looked this bad. So this is a little bit of a bigger hurdle to overcome, but I think it could not have come at a better time because they need to figure some things out. You clearly saw that with the depth chart changeovers on a thing. So I think it's not unreasonable, but I am a little surprised it's 10 points, a little high for me.
Yeah.
It's on the road, right? It's on the road, right? So you're saying like they're a sure favorite on the road against a 4-3 Clemson team going against a 4-3 State team. Like, I mean, I just think it's a little high. So
yeah. And right now, Greg, to give you a little stat, so right now, 82% of the bets right now are on Clemson -10. So, and that's the
a lot of
public
people
right now.
think they're going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a bad loss. Kind of talking about the emotional loss with Clemson, 2 overtimes. You know, you had 3 turnovers. You're playing against a backup quarterback with Miami. That's a game that Clemson, you look on paper, you know, even as quote unquote bad or as off as Clemson is, Clemson should win that game 9 out of 10 times. So I just think you got to kick them while they're down. And so this is your chance. You know, this was a game last year that was on ABC prime time and it's being relegated to CW network. So how things have changed in the mere parts of a year.
Yeah.
You know, this was a game where both teams were top 10 last year too, you know, and we're both barely 500. So I think everything's ripe that you shouldn't be intimidated, you know, even though they got that paw print on their helmet. They're just another team, and just go out there and kick them in the teeth.
Well, and right now they're going through their own little valley right now. So
yeah, so I think 10 is high, but again, I just think it's because State has struggled in the last couple of weeks, you know, especially in ACC play scoring points. You know, we only scored 10 against Louisville, 3 against Duke. You know, I think that's just more Vegas saying, you know, they're daring State to go out and score points.
Yeah.
What's the over under? I'm curious what the over under is. It's probably not high. I would be surprised if it's over 42 points.
44.
Okay. Well,
no, 20.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think State's going to need to figure this out in the bye week. They don't have a lot. They have a lot to work on, and I had another point I was going to say that I honestly slipped my mind. So I'll think about it. I'll come back to it.
The only other thing which I'll say to it too is, it's interesting because actually before the season, they actually came out with the spread for this game even before season even started, and it was at Clemson being favored by 10.5. So it hasn't even honestly moved that much, which is again just a crazy thing. Being like,
So we got better.
Yeah, just us and Clemson both got worse together. Exactly the same amount.
Yeah. So here, I remember I
that's
thought
what I'm
was
thinking.
so that Miami game, it was a double time, but the commentators noted it, and I kind of noticed it too. Like it did seem like a pretty physical game. I wonder, it shouldn't affect a good team like Clemson, but I wonder how much that'll kind of come back to back-to-back road games for them. Kind of heartbreaking loss there, kind of a little bit of a demoralizing or deflating loss for them. And I don't know. I wonder how that'll stack up. I mean, will they get up for state? They're going to have to.
It's a Textile Bowl, right?
Right, but do they care? Like, I mean, I think they think they're just better than state, and we'll see. They probably hate us. To be fair, they probably don't like us because they find, I don't know, whatever.
Well, definitely Dabo and Doran definitely have their bad blood between them. So,
What we have to question is Miami even really that good? I mean, Miami lost by double digits to Carolina to get kicked out of the top 25, and then barely beats Clemson here. So we say,
but that Hard Rock
good is
Stadium
Clemson?
environment, though.
Hey, my buddy was there. My buddy was there, and he said it was 75% full, and he used the words electric.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
Lindsay.
Well, I'm gonna add this to your point. To add to Lindsay's point, if you're questioning whether Miami's even really good, that's the best team Carolina's beaten so far.
True
Just as a
story.
side note.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know we had a tweet too about like the records of the teams Carolina has played since playing Carolina, and they were all super low. So it's like, is Carolina really that good, or are they just playing teams that end up being bad and we just don't realize it at the time?
I think Miami is
Keep that up there.
good. I think the coach potentially is kind of I don't know. He kind of messed up at least one win. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I think Miami's pretty good. I don't know if they're great, but they're pretty good.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't want to say too much since we, still
They're better than us.
So.
Better than us right now. So.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, and we can transition to this topic too if we want to take it further. But today at Coach Doran's press conference, he was asked about the Michigan scandal of sign stealing. And this is exactly the thing. I was waiting for him to go, yeah, Clemson. Like I was really waiting for him to say something about them stealing signs. Obviously, he took the high road. I don't think he would ever say that, but this definitely reminded me of that.
Can I ask a question? What is the context here at the sign stealing with the Michigan story? I haven't even heard it.
Yeah, so I can take it in 30 seconds. So there's a staffer from Michigan that's been accused of in-person scouting, which is illegal. It's been illegal since 1994, but he's been going to games. So like this past weekend, he was at Penn State and Ohio State, and I don't know if he actually made it, but he had tickets. But he's there recording the signs from the game. So you can scout teams, but you have to do it on video. You can't actually do it in person, and that's what they're being accused of.
Okay,
which I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, right now Clemson's going through a very dark time where you have Dabo basically admitting Cade completely screwed up that last play, man. He should have held on. He should have, let go of that ball, but he held on to it for some reason. And then, him making that, statement, which, I won't repeat about, but that, he immediately the next day said that was a bad thing to say. So
which one, about the sports psychologist?
Yeah, about sports psychologist. Yeah. That was, that was a rough one. So yeah. So anyway, all right. So we got two more here. We're gonna blitz through them here. So we got some Tuffy's tweets of the week to get to here. But in terms of how do you see the adjustments to our offensive line this week helping us going forward? And I'll pull up the depth chart here real quick. But this was kind of the biggest thing that really stood out when the depth chart did get released, and that was that you have Anthony Bell starting left tackle, and you have Anthony Carter left guard, Dylan McMahon.
No change.
Tim McKay at right guard, and then
Change.
Jacarius Peak on the right at the right tackle. So
Change.
So I think the biggest thing is now you have Derek Eason as the second string right guard behind McKay, which is interesting. And then you have Jacarius Peak starting at right tackle when Tim McKay's been your starting right tackle most of the season. So and
Did
also
they bump
now,
Anthony
and
Carter
Cooper.
up? It was Carter. He was left guard, starting left guard.
it was Lyndon Cooper was, I think, the left guard, starting left guard for Duke.
Is it left?
And then
But Carter just moved to left guard.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I think.
So, but Lyndon Cooper was starting for us against Duke, but
Yeah.
now he's not. Now he's back up to McMahon. So interesting here.
Yeah,
But
that's
I mean, for me, I think unfortunately for Derek Eason, graduate student, love the guy once again. But then Dave, he's just not been getting it done the whole season. Like even going into the season, I know Philip Danforth from IPS, when we had him on, he said, I mean, that was one of his biggest glaring issues was Derek Eason. Could he take a step forward? And just unfortunately, the season, I mean, PFF even backs up, has one of the worst, grades from on the entire offensive line. He's just not gotten it done. So I think it's smart for Doran to kind of go a little bit more of a younger direction, bringing in Jacarius Peak, to give him a shot. Again, only a redshirt freshman, start to look towards the future. So I like it.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that he's just the only position group that changed depth chart wise.
Mhm.
Like you didn't see any shifting in the receivers.
No.
And I mean, you obviously not going to see anything from for conception slot, but like, I know they got the oars there on the flexi. I'm a little surprised Vereen is still down there listed at the third spot. I am surprised that Lassane isn't. I mean, maybe they're just giving the nod to seniority there, but Timmons is starting over Rosner now. Technically, I mean, it's an or there, but
I think that tells me with Javonte, they're really trying to redshirt him.
Yeah, I was going to ask. Like, I know he's been at least 1 or 2 games, so I don't know what he's got left.
He's still able to redshirt. I think he's played 3
maybe
games.
that's what it is.
He's not played more 4.
You're in a situation where is State already counting the season as a loss in my mind? I don't know, because it's like,
No.
why would they play a guy who's clearly produced for them?
Yeah, but I also think you got enough talent above him to where it's kind of a wash at that point.
Do you?
I mean, I think with Trent Penix and I mean Chris Toole.
Penix not the same position though. They got him listening to and Gray, Rooks, and Vereen at the bottom there. So Gray hasn't looked super great. Rooks hasn't looked super great.
Oh,
the only one who's been impressive to me out of all of those was Vereen. I mean, there's been flashes for Gray. Rooks, I can think of one really nice catch this season.
Yeah,
but that's just all I've had.
Yeah, no, you're right. I just assumed that they were having Vereen at tight end and not flexed there. So
and can I ask another thought? Why? I don't mean to hate on this guy. Nothing wrong with him as a person. I don't know him, but why do we have Orr on DeMarcus Jones?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, I mean, Michael Allen or Delbert Mims, sure.
Or Kendrick Raphael, sure.
To your point, Greg, maybe they have Raphael at the bottom there because he's but like, why? I don't get it. I just don't get the Marcus Jones thing. I don't know what you get by playing a guy 5 snaps a game or something like that. I just don't get it.
And doesn't Keon have an E at the end, or have I been spelling Keon's name wrong the whole time?
You've been spelling it wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
Lassane's got an E at the end of it, so
yeah.
That's okay, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But
NC State has an E at the end of it.
Thank you, Macon. I appreciate it.
So does Red and White.
And also two Wolfpack's one word. That is something which needs to be reminded from time to time.
Hello, Nevada.
Yeah, we're not Nevada. So yeah, Wolfpack is one word. So all right.
Caleb Martin.
Yeah. R.I.P. No. All right. And then last question here. Who hits the most 3-pointers this season? Kind of switching over to men's basketball here. Macon, Casey Morcell, or DJ Horn? Who you got?
Oh,
I'm Team Casey.
I mean, I haven't seen DJ, so
yeah, I agree.
Good, Lindsay.
Yeah, we haven't seen DJ. But also someone was talking in the Discord earlier about this, saying Casey shot 41% from 3 last season, which was the best percentage on the team. Horn shot about 37. There's also Casey's last year of eligibility, last chance to kind of show off. Definitely a fan favorite. I see Casey hitting more 3-pointers, but I'm not doubting Horn. I think he's going to be really valuable for that 3-point kind of thing for the basketball team, but I'm sticking with Casey.
If they're coming from the corner, my money's on Casey all day. He is deadly from the corner. So,
I'm gonna go. Greg, you finish. Go ahead. I'll finish that.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say Casey, assuming that he takes enough. That's something that he doesn't always do a lot of. Is he doesn't? He's unfortunately known more for his defensive game, but that's not to say that his offensive game can't be really good. And you've seen the last couple of years his numbers have steadily increased. So hopefully he takes that next step and he will probably lead the team in threes.
Yeah, I actually kind of have a little bit of a wonder if DJ is going to be the guy. 'Cause I can kind of view DJ a little bit more of a catch and shoot guy. Go ahead.
And making maybe going forward, we should say DJ Horn. Maybe we should add DJ's last name.
Did I say DJ?
I hear DJ. I heard DJ Burns. So but yeah, go ahead, Megan.
DJ Horn. Yeah. I actually kind of wonder if he's gonna be more of that guy because I could kind of see KC more on. I mean, DJ Horn. Maybe he's the starting point guard and he's more on the ball.
Yeah,
I don't know. It'll be interesting. There's a lot of options in this team this year. I'll stick with Casey until I see it otherwise. But I wouldn't be surprised, put it that way, if DJ is more 3-pointers than Casey necessarily. I think Casey's going to get his shots, but I think DJ is going to shoot a lot of threes.
I think it's going to be volume versus percentage, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it's totally off base, totally wrong, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now.
Agreed. And real quick, Andy's question about hasn't Vereen played 5 games? I know for certain that after the Virginia game, I don't think we have seen Vereen since.
He played Notre Dame. That was his best game.
Right. And Virginia was the 4th game we played this season.
He definitely played in UConn.
Looking it up right now. Yeah. So we'll get back to you in a second.
You're good. So, all right, y'all. While making looks that up, we'll go ahead and transition over to Tuffy's Tweets of the Week, y'all. Here we go. Sorry, y'all. All righty. So first,
hold up.
Oh, go ahead, Megan.
3 games.
3 games. Okay.
He's played in Marshall, VMI, Notre Dame. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So interesting little tweet here. Corey Smith, because I think it was Bradley Chubb in his introduction before the NFL games talked about basically you could say Bradley Chubb, NC State, but with Chubb he chooses to shout out his high school, and I think a lot of State fans were like, well, what the heck, why doesn't he say NC State? And Corey Smith comes out, basically says, a lot of dudes say their high school / JUCO to give them love. I think Bradley Chubb knows where he was developed. And then Bradley Chubb quote tweeted this and said, "I always got love for the Wolfpack. Got to inspire the youth in Ponder Springs. Let them know that they can do it too." And Ponder Springs was his high school. So yeah, I loved it. Yeah. Yep. Great stuff.
Yep. Case closed.
Case closed.
That was quick. Let's move along.
No, but I mean, I have seen it a lot. Where you have these Sunday night matchups or Monday night football matchups, and they announce it, and people do get riled up for the stupidest reasons, and this is one of them. And I mean, I've heard him say it before, Wolfpack or NC State. So again, like he just says, he's just switching it up, and the players do this all the time.
Yeah. And then real quick, Doc coming here saying if we don't fix O-line issues and if wide receivers don't show up other than the KC, Clemson will be a repeat of the Duke game. 100% agree.
Well,
100%.
You can see State's priority number 1 was addressing the offensive line. So
yeah, and good for Dorn.
Good for them, right? They're doing something. I'm not saying they're not settling.
And Dorn did shout out Anthony Smith. Said he had some nice routes against Duke, just couldn't get him the ball. So maybe we can see some more of that. Maybe we'll see some deep shots come Saturday.
We need it. We haven't had many this season. So.
I don't think it'll be a problem. It's homecoming against Clemson, but fans need to be full support, all in on this, moving forward, because the team clearly is going to need our help. So,
yeah.
Oh, I don't think there will be any problem. Everyone I know, even my friends here, Carolina, are like, "Do you have a ticket for this weekend? Are you going this weekend? Can I go this weekend?" So I think people are into it. I think people are ready for homecoming. I hope so, at least.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Our student section will be filled this week.
Yeah, Carson Corral coming in saying they should do it more often. TBH talking about players shouting out their high schools. Everyone knows what state is, but no one outside of a specific area knows where a high school is. So it's great giving them a little bit of a spotlight. 100% agree, especially with a guy like Bradley Chubb, where it's like there's no doubt he knows where he came from. There's no doubt about it. So
side note real quick. The weather
Right.
Saturday looks awesome. Have you seen the weather?
Yeah.
Looks beauty.
low
70,
80s, right?
80 degrees,
Mm.
sunny, partly cloudy. It's going to look awesome.
Miami, on the other hand, is going to be a little chilly, so maybe the Miami boys won't be ready for it.
Yeah.
That's
Slight
all right.
breeze, 3-mile-an-hour wind breeze. Okay, sorry. I just
take
noticed
it.
that.
Yep, it's supposed to be beautiful.
So we kind of referenced this a little bit earlier, but FQ just means less comes out tweeting saying UNC's opponent records through week 8, and basically has every single opponent the UNC's faced up until this point and their record so far through week 8. And the combined record of these 7 games have been a combined 22 and 27. So aka the combined record of the opponents that they have faced so far is under 500. And because
Right.
I know, especially for me, I mean being partial South Carolina fan, being that that's where my wife went to school. I mean, I was going into that UNC South Carolina game like, oh yeah, I definitely think South Carolina can win. And then now I'm sitting here going, good Lord, like South Carolina has nothing around them, but geez, I'm skipping on names. Spencer Rattler's really
Rattler.
running for his
Yeah.
life. So yeah, no, South Carolina's rough this year. And then
Well,
yeah, so,
can I just? I looked it up earlier, so just to be for comparison's sake, and we think State's bad, right? So the Carolina has played teams. That's 44% win percentage for combined for State for UNC's opponents. Okay, 22 out of 49 games is 44%. Comparatively, State has their opponents. Not. I mean, maybe it is no better. I mean, I don't know how much it is. I wouldn't say necessarily it is, but they've played. Their opponents have 27 and 22 record, so it's flipped. So that number is 55%. Roughly there and there. So. And Carolina's getting all the love because they, to their credit, they've been getting the wins until they didn't. So,
and I'm guessing UConn's the team that's dragging that number down.
Yeah, they're 1-6.
Yeah,
true.
So just a little bit more perspective for that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, State is played 3 ranked teams. Carolina's played 1, and that was Miami, who's a top 25 team, who was ranked 25th in specifically. And then State's had a little bit of a tougher schedule.
Yeah. And then the Devil's Advocate coming in here says, hello from a person, the Power Sound, the South, the marching band. I really hope that this Clemson game makes up for all the time we put into our show. That Duke game made me depressed, not going to lie.
Dude, that picture is kind of creepy. I'm not going to lie, man.
Yeah, man, that's an interesting one. But
well, we appreciate you.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, we appreciate the power.
Invite the rest of the band. Invite the rest of the band. Make everybody make an account.
Yeah,
we'd have 417. I think that's how big the band is this year.
Wow.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Devil's Advocate. I know but I think they're like 417 this year, which is the largest we've ever had.
Tell Forrest Budway on the drumline team that we said hello. Me and Leighton Smith said hello.
That's our guy.
He'll know exactly who Macon and Leighton are.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing, but
it's a good thing.
It's not too shabby. Which again is side note once again, because again I'm not going to make a big deal about this because per State fans we can't make a big deal about this. But once again, at the end of the season, y'all, when you get your surveys, please ask for the band to be put back on the other side. All right, thank you. Moving on. So this we hear come from Trilly Donovan coming out talking about how Georgia beat NC State 80-72 in a secret scrimmage per source. And Inside Pack Sports went on to quote tweet saying Pack went without DJ Burns, who is dealing with a short-term ankle injury, was in a boot. And, of course, State fans see that we lost to Georgia 87-2 and it's, oh my gosh, cancel the season. No NCAA tournament.
Nothing to see
is
here.
Getting fired.
We suck. There's always next year, guys. Okay.
Yeah,
how many people were in the student section? That's all I care about.
And
0, Greg. Would you believe it?
So as many as Carolina.
Where there's no box score.
More.
There's we don't even know like DJ Burns didn't play, but who knows? I mean, again, you obviously didn't have
MJ Rice,
and then you might not have had some others. Like we don't know. We have no clue. It's a secret scrimmage, So I mean, are we really about to put a lot of stock into a secret scrimmage? So
yeah. Plus they said they ran it not like a normal game, so they were probably running different kinds of like clocks and times.
Yeah, to me, it's just to iron some things out, get ready for the season. Like I mean, you're not playing to just we came out and we beat Georgia. Like you're not doing that. So
yeah, I don't think we would be flipping and saying, we beat Georgia in a secret scrimmage. We're going to the Final Four. I don't think you can go either way with this, right? I think it's just an opportunity, just much like fall baseball. It's to go out and play someone other than your team, just to get a different look, run some things, try some things out.
Greg, are you worried? Because I'm not worried right now.
I'm not worried, sir. I'm
Why
not
are you
worried.
so worried, Greg? Okay, you need to chill out.
I can't take it
Calm
anymore.
down, Greg.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it.
a
We're
secret
finishing dead
scrimmage is
last.
I think a secret scrimmage is a secret for a reason. Even fall baseball, I feel by that point you're a little more developed. You know, you're posting those scores some places. This, no official NC State, accounts put these scores out because I think it's glorified pickup, right? It's their chance to see what they look like against a team that's not themselves. To basically practice with a squad that's not theirs and see where they're falling short, what they need to work on before the actual season. I really don't think it means anything. It doesn't mean there's going to be the best year NC State's ever had. It also doesn't mean, NIT, here we come. So, yeah, again,
Wait, you
also
mean it's
worried.
not the best year State's ever going to have, Lindsay?
Hey,
Is
I
that
don't
what
know.
you're
I'm saying
saying?
we don't know.
Come
from the
on,
secret
Lindsay.
scrimmage.
Come on.
I honestly,
We don't know
I
from
would,
the secret scrimmage. It could be.
I would be honest to see how much
Close
even
call there.
Coach Keats talks about it if he's even asked the question in a
Yeah,
press conference this
exactly.
week. Like,
Keith said, "Why do we suck against Georgia?"
I
I heard
Yeah.
I heard all the details from the secret scrimmage, and I'm going to
Did-
post them.
we
Did you
might
call-
People on Twitter say you suck.
Yeah.
we
People
might
on Twitter say
secretly
secret scrimmage.
we might secretly suck from losing a secret scrimmage. So
I okay. Here's about that. I actually genuinely think State's gonna be pretty good this year.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
agree.
saying they're gonna be like, oh, State's gonna be great and blah blah. I think they're actually gonna be. I think they'll be pretty good. I don't know how good, but I think they've got the depth there more than they've had in years past, and it makes me excited. Like it, and it doesn't feel like this. I'm reaching kind of thing. It feels like, well, I've seen the pieces play, and I'm just kind of building around those pieces, those core pieces. So I feel good about it.
Yeah.
And it's 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away.
yeah, the biggest thing for this team, and we'll talk about it when we do our previews, is just how well is this team going to come together and play off of each other, and can you stay healthy?
I think
Those are
it's
really
gonna
the
be
two
good.
biggest things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good.
And that'd be funny if Keith in the next press conference somebody says, Keith, did you call another bad play at the end of the first half? Just reaching out there. But so anyway, y'all. But and then you got in here Doc saying, let's not mimic UNC and start talking about basketball yet. And I would
Well,
make
it's
this
2
very
weeks from
clear.
now. We can at least just mention it. but-
I'll make this very clear. We're not like this UNC fan right here in Inside Carolina saying officially
That is hilarious. I
basketball
saw you
season.
posted. I was like, that has to be a tweet of the week, dude. That's so funny.
Like this guy posted 3 words:
Stereotypical.
officially basketball season. Like
They do
Bold
it every
take,
year.
considering UNC didn't make the turnaround last year.
They're literally 6-1. They're like, oh, it's basketball season.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
literally one of the best teams in the ACC.
Here's the crazy thing: they're 17 in the country. They could still get to the top 12 and make the CFP. Like,
is that the first year we're talking
Next
about?
year.
this?
No, I
Is it
think
next
it's
year?
Next
Yeah, I
year.
think
Oh, I
we're
was
still
about to
talking
say.
this year.
okay, well, we gotta feel
gosh,
better
Because
about
that
that.
would be
goodness.
crazy.
Ooh.
Thank goodness.
But
Ooh.
they could still make it to ACC championship
throw a
game
little bit there, Greg.
and
For
still
sure.
and still have a possibility at a BCS bowl. Like that's still 100% on the table. Now, I mean, I think Florida State's going to win this and just go ahead and book
I
it.
think so
And let's
too.
move on. But I still think the Gray season is still 100% on the cards for UNC. But like I said, last year UNC let the lost Georgia Tech beat them multiple times, and hopefully they don't let it happen again to a probably a fired up
I'm
Georgia
done
Tech
talking
team.
about those
So,
bums. Let's go.
Yeah, no. But
Bum, 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 bum.
instead of talking about the bums, the one thing which I do, because we do have one other tweet from our very own Michael Tracy. Got to give a huge shout out to our man Michael, who's getting married this upcoming weekend, y'all. So if y'all don't mind, make sure please give our man Michael a lot of love. As again, he is getting betrothed to his awesome fiance this weekend. So excited for him. And
I will
Michael, if
say
you're
that-
listening. If you're listening, man, we love you, man. Support you, man. And again,
Fires of love is all it is.
the fires of love. That's right. I love it, making the fires of love. Anyway, though. Alrighty. And also too want to give a huge shout out as well to our women's volleyball team, who really has had a breakout season so far. I know that they got swept 3-0 by Pitt, but
it's a
Pitt's
top 10 team.
top
I think it's
five.
top
I mean,
five.
they're going
Yeah.
to compete for a national championship, Pitt. So that's okay. We're not going to use that as a measuring stick, but they've handled opponents very well. And again have crossed over a lot of ceilings that for in-state volleyball history has been very, very tough, if ever have been crossed. So again, got to give a huge shout out to Lucas Labe and these girls. And again, hopefully they can keep this thing up and continue on to, go make some noise in the postseason. So
Yep, currently 6 in the ACC. Oh, go ahead, Lindsay.
Hey,
Go ahead.
no, you got it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Girl, ladies
No.
first. Ladies first.
Yeah,
Lindsay,
Okay,
go ahead.
okay. Yeah, just shout out volleyball. They're 16-5, and their next two opponents are Duke and Carolina. So definitely everybody tune in, continue to cheer for volleyball so that they can beat Duke and Carolina. But really huge showing from them in ACC play so far.
And a bit to go on with that, like I need to go to some volleyball. I mean, volleyball to me
They're really fun.
is one of the more fun sports, one of the most fun sports to watch. That is not football, basketball, or baseball to me. I mean, it's pretty fun, entertaining stuff. I've seen a lot of highlights lately of some of these crazy like volleys like Nebraska's had or whoever, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
yeah,
And exciting.
absolutely.
I was just going to say State's tied for 6 right now in the ACC at 6-4. Like Lindsay said, 16-5 overall. And their next two opponents are Duke and Carolina, and they are both lower than us, so very winnable matches. I'm not really sure about how the ACC tournament works for women's volleyball. I'm just trying to do some research to see if you had to be like top 4, 6, 8. I don't really know how that works. So, but they got about another month left in the schedule, so plenty of time to make some headway.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Josh saying, hope the wedding is at like 9 a.m. And yeah,
Probably not.
Probably not. But I mean, I guarantee you that
Reception, we're having waffles.
I guarantee you that Michael's already discussed that with his fiance.
He was given
did.
permission to have the game at the reception.
I can't
That's
believe
right.
that. His
That's
wife
right.
said they'll put it on the TV for the reception. I'm like, that is amazing.
That's true love.
That is only can
Well,
be done by
I
true
don't know
love
if it's
right
true
there.
love because they're getting married in the fall, but that's a good concession. That's a good concession.
I don't know.
They're already
man.
starting their
That's-
marriage
I can
off
tell
right.
you right now, my wife would not have done that.
Oh, no.
And that's not
No.
a shot at her. That's within reason. There's
There's a reason I got married in May.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, they're in the dead period. Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit dead, but yeah.
Yeah, mostly dead. But anyway, and then Michelle coming in here saying about volleyball, you can sit courtside and see some really great action, and 100% agree.
I'm
So,
assuming that's general admission. Anybody
I
know?
don't know. No idea.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I think it is.
whatever you do not order it online because once again you'll pay.
I got $200 season tickets, guys. For
yeah,
the
right?
nosebleeds.
No. But anyway, though. All right, y'all. Let's switch over. So, news came out yesterday, I guess, about the Clemson game being at 2 p.m. And then today it got announced that the Miami game was going to be a night game, 8 p.m. Y'all, under the lights, covered by ECC Network. And I'm excited, y'all. Like, I think one of the things for me is I'm excited to finally see. So I think this is going to be our true first night
Yes.
start game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Like, just
season
like-
100. Yes, it is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because we played one other game like at 7 p.m. Was it?
No, it was it was
Played
Marshall.
UConn was a night game.
Yeah, but at home though. He's talking home.
At home. Yeah. Just like I'm
Most
ready to
of our-
see. I'm ready
Louisville
to
was
see the
close.
lights. I'm ready to see the lights, man. I'm ready
Yeah.
to see the full card filling effect, man. You can
If
only
we
get that
can
underneath
score,
the lights.
that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Louisville 7 p.m. That was the game.
Yep.
Yeah, Louisville. Thank you. Yes.
And
yes,
at that
yes,
time
thank
of
you,
year, it was still light at 7 p.m.
Right,
So
it
this
was
is the
dusk.
first like real night game.
That was the glow in the dark jerseys that didn't glow in the dark because it was
Yeah.
still daylight.
Exactly.
Did the black
Exactly.
jerseys come out again?
I don't know. We'll find out.
We shall
Yeah,
see.
It's gonna be like I'm assuming because it's homecoming.
Something.
No.
Are we gonna see white, red, white? Probably homecoming.
Oh,
You haven't
today,
seen-
yeah.
Have we seen that jersey
Yeah.
combination yet this season?
Yeah, white,
I
red,
can't
white.
remember.
Notre Dame.
Mm,
I'm assuming Notre Dame.
I don't.
I've
think we
seen
did
I've
Notre
seen
Dame.
I've seen white, red, white a couple of times. I don't know if we've seen red, white, red.
Oh yeah, we did.
No,
We
no,
did,
no, no,
but-
no. I'm talking white, red, white because it's because we wear red jerseys because we're the home team.
I don't
You
know.
can- you can wear whatever
I
jersey you
really
wanna
noticed
wear.
That bad, so
Yeah, you wear whatever you want to wear, but yeah, I'm assuming since it's homecoming, you're gonna see.
So you're going
sorry,
white, red, white.
You're
is that what
gonna
you're
see
saying?
white, red, white.
You're
Yeah.
classic. Tone
Why don't we
classic,
just do all
classic, right?
red? Just go all red.
All red.
Jordan-
Let's
Jordan
do it.
never does it,
All
man.
red. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
won't.
know. Let's make it happen. But anyway, we'll see. stay tuned. Gotta give a shout as well to our man Jacob Kozart, who just continues to go up these draft boards for next year's draft, moving all the way up to the 9th overall, and
Big time.
yeah, it's big time. And again, just goes back to once again, everybody's saying, when we had our true freshman catcher, transfer to go to Tennessee, it's like, well, why did we let him go? It's like, because you got Jacob Kozart, man. Like, I get it. Like, at the end of the day, the guy doesn't want to sit behind Kozart for 2 years. He wants to go play. And hey, if a team like Tennessee comes calling, then I can't necessarily blame him, assuming that he plays. Now, I mean, if he starts behind once again, but I mean, assuming he plays, then then I get it. But yeah, I mean, Jacob Kozart is the number 9th overall, and then at least per this list, the number 1 catcher prospect. So, I mean, the Kozart should make some noise this year. Really looking forward to seeing a really breakout year this year.
Yep, a lot of ACC talent on that list too. 2 Wakes, 1 Carolina, and 1 State. So ACC is going to be real competitive this year, with Wake probably leading the charge again. But I think State's going to be much improved.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think Wake Forest definitely is reloading this year, not rebuilding for sure. So excited to see what's going to happen there. And last one here, just a quick shout out as well to Kerry Angeline, who signed his letter of intent to play with the XFL once again. I know that there was a couple of different clips last year where with Angeline scoring some touchdowns in the XFL. So hey, excited to see a little bit of noise in the XFL from the NC State side. So definitely excited to see Kerry Angeline repping State once again, the XFL.
Yeah, XFL should be fun with them merging with the USFL. So get some more teams out there and give some more opportunities for State players to play in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Carson coming in here saying Ron Rivera needs to bench Sam Howell for Jacoby Brissett if he wants to keep his job. I'm telling you right now, Sam Howell is the furthest thing, from the problem, man. That offensive line.
If you say you thought State's line was not very good.
Commanders is hot garbage.
Hot.
And I mean, again, I'm a diehard State fan, obviously, as much as anybody, but I mean, I got to call a spade and be like, listen, that offensive line is garbage, man. Absolute garbage. So no. But anyway, y'all. So once again, y'all got NC State versus Carter Finley here. Again, 2 p.m.
State versus Clemson, not Carter Finley.
NC State versus Clemson at Carter Finley. Sorry, y'all. NC State versus Clemson at Carter Finley, 2 p.m. y'all. On the CW network, but again, don't watch it on CW network. Make sure to be there, y'all. Make sure to pack the crowd and let's make it everything that we expect it to be in terms of being one of the toughest environments in the whole country. And again, just do our part to help get these boys ready to get a huge win for us. I mean, this will be a huge win. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily 2021 big, but I mean, it still would be a big win, especially for the rest of the season.
You need it for confidence, momentum going forward.
For the rest of the season, absolutely. Well, because again, I think this could definitely be a springboard.
Especially coming off of a bye.
Good call.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but definitely springboard, especially because again, with UNC, like an interesting thing is that we talked about that they got to bounce back. Well, especially because of the fact that again they have to face they're facing Georgia Tech this weekend, Campbell. But then you face Duke, and then you face Clemson at Clemson, and then you face State. So it doesn't get easier for them. While with us, I wouldn't say it gets easier, but I would say it's solid opponents the rest of the way. Well, I mean, but it's not that hard in terms of you got to face Duke. I mean, with Riley Leonard,
you're not facing juggernauts. What your point?
You're not facing juggernauts, exactly. But I mean, again, facing Duke, which man. Can we say that, man? I think if Riley Leonard could have stayed healthy, I think Duke really had a shot to beat FSU on Saturday. Just to kind of put that little side note out there. They looked really good against Florida State. So shout out to them.
I didn't watch it. I didn't know.
Yeah. But anyway, y'all. So again, looking forward to seeing everybody at Carter Finley Stadium on Saturday. If you haven't already for us, make sure again hit that free subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you do not miss out on any of our new NC State content, y'all. And also, if you enjoyed this conversation, do us a big favor and hit that like button. And also, if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to us, make sure if you don't mind, do us a big favor and leave a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate that. And make sure to give us a follow at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. This has been awesome, and we'll see y'all soon. And go Pack, y'all.